In this last lesson on printing your 3D puzzle, I want to show you how you're going to save your puzzle pieces. So I have a part here that I've opened in Autodesk Inventor. So this is one of my puzzle pieces, and so I'm going to go here and save a copy as, and I want to title it down here as CTE Online IPT part. Okay, and then down here in the save as type, I want to turn this into a stereo lithography file. So down here, STL stereo lithography file. Okay, so I want to save it. I'm going to save it to the desktop. So I save it. Okay, so once I've saved my parts as a STL file, I go to we have a 3D printer, a Stratasys 3D printer by Dimension. It's a uPrint Plus, and so I open the interface to that printer, which is up here, Catalyst software, and so I open this. Okay, and so I'll maximize this, and so I'm going to go File, Open the STL file, and I try to find my STL file. Okay, so I title this, what did I title it? CTE Online. Oh, I got to look in the desktop. I saved it to the desktop, so it will have its own little icon, you know, this little green like icon. So CT Online STL file. Okay, so I open that file. Okay, so there I'm looking at my part on the modeling base, it's called. Okay, so you have this little plastic tray that fits into the 3D printer. So that's what I'm looking at. Okay, so I can look at the orientation of it, and I can change it any way I want. Up here, I won't get terribly into that in this little tutorial, but I can look at it this way or that way, and I can position it any way on my modeling base that I want, that I think would be the best way to print it. So let's say I think that's the best way to print it. All right, so I'm going to look at it. I'm going to print it that way. Okay, so I go to the pack. Okay, and I have to add what I just opened to the pack. So I add it to the pack. Okay, and it's doing the math here. Again, it's a it's a true mathematical 3D solid. So there it is on the pack. Okay, so the modeling base is this little is shown in the graphic area here as this little graph paper, but in reality, every little square of this is part of this little plastic modeling base that goes into the machine. So you literally slide this into the machine, and the 3D printer does this magic. It prints out this part. So where I put my part on this modeling base is right in the middle, and it did it automatically for me. Now I can grab this part, okay, and say I want to put it here on the base or here on the modeling base. Here I can put it anywhere I want. And in reality, you're positioning this, with the print head, and where is it going to print this part in reality? Okay, you can. Well, there's a lot of things you can do with this. You can you can look up here and look at and this is what you should do. You should, early on here, as you're learning to do this, there's model material, which is one type of plastic, and there's support material, which is another type of plastic. So on this part, I'm using 1.66 cubic inches of plastic of model material. Okay, and this is approximately $6 a cubic inch. Okay, so that tells you 1.66 times 6. So this is costing you $8 or $9 or something. And support material, you're only using 0.08 cubic inches. Okay, it's going to take 1 hour and 21 minutes to print this part. Okay, so that's one thing I'd be paying attention to. Now you can go. Well, let's see what I want to show you here. Okay, so I'm looking at the part as it will be printed. Okay. So the next thing you would do once you're happy with, well, I should talk about this. I'm in the General tab. There's the Orientation tab. How am I gonna, X, Y, Z? How am I gonna orient this? I'm looking at the pack. I'm now looking at the modeling base and where it is on the modeling base. The printer status, what's happening with it. It'll tell you what's going on with your printer and what is happening with it. Okay, and the printer services is just history, and you can go history and go okay. Well, it's not going to show me the history right now, but it'll tell you the history of what's happening. So anyway, for this little tutorial, we're just trying to print this part. Okay, so so over here again in the properties, I can set the layer resolution here. Again, this is an FDM, a fusion deposition modeling technique, where it's just laying down plastic, either 10 thousandths of an inch at a time, or 13 thousandths inch at a time. So you can pick your resolution. You can decide how you're going to how the plastic will be deposited. Is it going to be high density? Is it going to be solid, which is expensive? You're going to use more plastic, or is it going to be low density, high density? Okay, you can also decide the number of copies you're going to print here, and you can also pick the units. Am I going millimeters or inches? And then this is a big deal, scale. Do I want to print my model to full scale, which could potentially be way more plastic than I want to pay for, or do I want to change the scaling factor and do it whatever scale I want to? So that's an important concept here, is what scale you're going to print it to. Once you're happy with all of this, you've opened your STL file, you've added it to the pack. Okay, there it is on the pack, and you're happy with the amount of material that you're using and what resolution you're printing it to. Okay, you go print. Okay, now so yes, so okay, so so I'm actually I'm at home now doing this video, and so my computer's not physically connected to the printer, so I can't literally print this part, but you see how I went through this Catalyst software again with the Stratasys uPrint Plus 3D printer. It'd be different, slightly different environment with other 3D printers, but not much. It's pretty much the same thing. So hopefully this helps.